I live on 312 Fairview Avenue. So I would like, well, first of all, you guys to be aware of, and then finally get your comments on the issue regarding legislation that recently got passed in Louisiana, which unfortunately nobody's talking about. So I don't know if you all are familiar, but on the 1st of this year, Louisiana passed legislation so that basically it would put blocks in place so that children can no longer so easily access adult content online. Currently, there are absolutely no blocks in place for kids to gain access to this stuff. The average age that a child is exposed to internet pornography is 12 years old. And that's the average age. That means that there are 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds being exposed to this stuff. Utah became the first of more than a dozen states in 2016 to declare pornography to be a public health crisis. They have passed similar legislation, which will go into effect if 5 other states pass like legislation. We already have one in the state of Louisiana, where basically every smart device, whether it's a tablet like this, smartphone, computer, the default setting of it would be for it to have parental filters on it. And then if a buyer wishes to have unfiltered access to the internet, they would simply provide identification. They would get a code, enter that code into the device, and then it would be unblocked. But this would prevent any, once again, 13-year-old from wandering into a Walmart with $60 and buying the cheapest tablet there. Because at the end of the day, parents can protect their devices, but there's nothing stopping a kid from accessing this stuff. And it simply makes absolutely no sense that a 17-year-old should have to show identification to see a rated R movie, but a 10-year-old can just click, yes, I'm 18, on a website and be exposed to hardcore internet pornography, which is getting more and more vile as the days go on. This stuff is now escalated to normalizing incest, and it's becoming so prolific that now 30% of males between the ages of 24 and 35 struggle with erectile dysfunction. A net meta-analysis strongly links porn use to sexually aggressive behavior. Over 95 studies have linked porn use to poor mental health and cognition. You can verify all these studies if you visit yourbrainonporn.com, and they have numerous ones detailing all of this. So I have called over to Andy Kim, Troy Singleton, and Phil Murphy to get a comment from them on that. They said they would give me one. They didn't. I'm currently going from door to door telling people about this legislation that was passed in Louisiana, since the media refuses to talk about it. Meanwhile, they'll talk about any little, assault that happens in some random part of the country, yet massive statewide legislation like this gets passed and there's not a peep from neither the right or the left. Anyways, one of the surprising things that I found when I was going to door to door was I talked to a parent, and she informed me that the device that she was getting from the school system was unblocked and unfiltered. So we're giving children in middle school and elementary school computers that don't even have parental filters on it. How does this make any sense? This is insane to me. So I would like to get your guys' comments on this issue if you know of any efforts being done to do something about this in the state. And if there are no efforts, why is that? Thank you.
So I won't speak for my colleagues, I'll just speak for myself. This is the first I've heard of the Louisiana law, so at this point I don't feel in a position to make a comment on that. I would want to go, and I will intend to go read some more on that. I am not aware of anything, but I can also reach out to our legislators and see what I can learn from them.
Okay. And what about the school system?
So what I would say is that I would recommend you address the school board on that. I mean, it is surprising to me. I think, do all students get computers still in Northtown? I don't have kids, so
Yes, they do. Yeah.
So I think that would be, certainly, I'm surprised to hear that. I would recommend taking that up with the school board. We don't have they are a separate government body. But it is surprising to me that those computers don't have some kind of, not just for pornography, but other things as well.
Yes.
I don't think we want taxpayer purchased computers being used for a lot of things.
Yes, yeah.
So, anyone else have a comment?
Did you mention that you did receive a comment from Andy Kim's office? Or?
No,
Oh, you did not.
none of those offices got back to me.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and also this is the first I'm aware, I wrote down your brain on phone.com,
Hmm.
and I don't know anything about the Louisiana law,
Yeah.
you're correct.
Yeah.
But you said Utah also has a law already.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Louisiana one is it went into effect. So if you try to access a pornographic website in the state of Louisiana, you have to upload photo ID proving that you're over the age of 18 to gain access to it. So this is happening right now, and this has just shown that this type of legislation can be put through and put into effect. And so I think that this is an inevitability that this legislation is going to get passed. This is an insane time that we live in. It's similar to smoking when that was seen as just a normal part of life, and then we realized it led to lung cancer. The difference with smoking is you still had to be 18 to buy cigarettes. These are children accessing hardcore pornography. Yeah, anyways, I think it's a matter of time for this legislation, God willing, gets put through. It's just a matter of how many children we save from, their ability to connect with people of the opposite sex, being shattered, their innocence being ripped from them at a young age, as it was done to mine. Mind you, I'm 28. These sites became prevalent right when I was 12 years old, and I was part of the first wave of kids that really got exposed to this stuff, and their parents weren't really aware, I think, of what was going on. Now, I would hope that we are more privy to what's going on now. This has been going on for 2 decades now. Yeah, hopefully we can take some action on this matter.
All right, and I'll just emphasize what the mayor already told you, that the board, going right to the school board is probably a really good thing to do, because they do have control. They're the ones giving out the computer, so that would be your place to really go.
And then does the board, do you guys have any power to go to Andy Kim, and do you guys have contact with him? Do you have a relationship with him?
So we do, but I would say that we generally, I won't speak that this will always be said, this council has generally not done things like symbolic resolutions to try and pressure either federal or state legislators to do anything. But we do have a relationship with them, and we do discuss when they are working on legislation. They're very open to hearing our input on those things. Okay.
And then, yeah, do you guys have does anything I say ring a bell with you guys? Do you think that this is an issue that, I understand you guys are probably limited in what you can do, but you probably can do something. You guys are the town council of a very affluent and impactful part of the state of New Jersey. What can you guys do to move this issue forward? And do you see it as being a worthy issue to move forwards?
So I honestly don't know what we can do as a council, but I will say, it's certainly concerning. There are some things that you described in the Louisiana law that I question. So, for example, uploading a photo ID. I would imagine there's going to be some pushback against that, against adults who are concerned about how that information might be used, their choices to look at things online. And I also know from being a high school teacher, it's really easy to get a fake ID. So I'm questioning some of the effectiveness. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I think you've raised, I think the issue of children accessing pornography is a very serious issue. The details of how effective these laws might be, I would want to do a little more research on.
It's a third-party company that does the check of the ID. They're barred from retaining any of the people's information. At the end of the day, also, Google knows that you're visiting these sites, Yahoo, whatever search engine is, so it's not like your identity is completely protected anyways. If somebody wanted to find out that you're visiting these sites, they would find it out. And at the end of the day, if people feel uncomfortable uploading their ID, some 30-year-old, 40-year-old and whatnot, they would rather have their privacy, retained more so as they're engaging in this act. I would say, too bad, I'm sorry, but you having to provide ID protects children from being exposed to filthy content at the age of 10.
I think that will remain to be seen. I think there's questions about how effective that is. So anybody else have any comments or questions on this?
I can just testify. My necessity of having to provide photo identification to buy alcohol when I was a teenager definitely prevented me from buying alcohol. I understand you can get a fake ID. It's difficult. It's a big step to go through. They get taken a lot of the times. So yeah, I simply just reject this idea that, you know, because it can't be perfect. Yeah, there are still kids that access alcohol, right? But we don't think that children should be able to just walk into a liquor store and buy a fifth of tequila, right?
I agree. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. You've raised an important issue here.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate this. I do need to ask you to wrap up your comments. I don't think debating
Okay.
the ins and
Okay.
outs of this law
Yeah.
is something we need to do here, but I do thank you for raising this concern and bringing it to our attention. I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Thank you.